computer. So welcome to Azure Fundamentals. Before we talk about Azure, it's important to talk about things like the cloud. I'm sure you have heard about cloud. You see a lot of job specification. They will ask you knowledge of the cloud. You see a lot of people talk about cloud. Yes, and what is this cloud? Before we also talk about what this cloud is, let's talk about, you know, things that were there before we talk about cloud. So before now, what people have is, you remember the knowledge of the data management we did some months ago. Before now, what people have is infrastructure that is on premise. So on premise means their infrastructure is in their office. That's what it means. The word on premise means it is in their offices. So they have their data infrastructure, you can call it database, it's in their office. Everything we are going to learn today is going to be channeled towards data, purely towards data. So everything it's in their office or somewhere around their office, especially around the headquarters. That's where they keep most of their data and most of their infrastructure. And when I mean infrastructure, so I am talking about things like their database, the their networks, their computers. So they mostly host these things their around their company, the data warehouse. Everything is within that company. When you come, you find these things in the company. It's easy to access it. And where is it? It's usually in a place where the computers are always on. The computers or the system that store this, the infrastructures are always on 24/7. No one turns it off, otherwise everything will break down. So that's what was there in years ago, I mean decades ago. Then we started having the dot-com boom, where we have the internet everywhere. And then we started having things like websites and databases online. And then it's still the database there could be online so that we can be able to have people, use the transactional databases, use the web application and give us the data that we need in the company. Now, what really happens is when they get this data from these databases, they still bring them down for those that needed to build a full data infrastructure. They still bring them down to their on-premise data warehouses where they have their full data solution. They bring it down to on-premise. Wherever the data is coming from all their applications, they still bring it down to on-premise. That's where they build their data warehouse. And at that time, what is really a data warehouse? So data warehouse is just another form of database where we clean the data, and when we clean the data, transform it, and then instead of, the way what we're doing, we load it into Power BI. But this one, after transforming it, instead of, having it on, loading into like things like Power BI, at that time, we move it to another database which they would then call their data warehouse and still do the entity relationship. But this time around, the entity relationship, it's not the 3NF, third normal form. That's what 3NF means. And this third normal form is just like the normal the one we did when we built the food database. So this time around, when they have transformed it, they will then build the one we call dimensional model. That's the relationship they're going to build this time around, and then move everything into another database in the system, in their another database in their office called their data warehouse. And that's also another computer sitting somewhere always on. And that's what we call the on-premise data warehouse or on-premise solution, whatever you call it. Now, the advantage of that on-premise is that you're sure where your data is. It's safe. Security problem is not, the security situation is not really your problem. That's one major thing. But the other disadvantage of the other thing about the other disadvantage about the on-premise infrastructure is that, so you build, look at it from this perspective. You want to move into a house, you want to build a house, you are a family of you and your partner or your husband, you and your spouse, that's the word. You want to build a house. Now you build a house, you're not going, most times you're unlikely going to build a one-room apartment for only you and your husband and your spouse. You're definitely going to say, let's build like 4 rooms at least, or 3 rooms at least. If you even want to rent, you said, no, let's rent something bigger, 2 rooms, 3 rooms, 4 rooms. You know, this situation means that you're going to get an apartment which you are not going to really use. What you're going to use there at that time, at every point in time, or most point in time, is just one house, the sitting room, the kitchen. The other one room, the other rooms will just be empty, wasting. So that's like requesting, asking for resources, getting resources that you will not need, and that's waste of resources, if that makes sense. Now, over time, when you start having children and you decide to, let's say you went for a 3 bedroom, you have 2 extra rooms, and you decide to have like 4 children. Now you began to find out that even the 3 room that was too much for you at the time it's no longer enough for the family that has grown. So you will need something bigger. This is what is happening. This is exactly what is happening with the,
Can you please mute Ruth?
so this is exactly what is happening with companies' infrastructure. When you have it on premise, you get that infrastructure that creates room for, the next 1 year, 2 years, or even 5 years. But before you get to use them up, you don't necessarily need them. And that's like a waste of money. Well, and then when it gets to that point, when you exhaust what you have, you start looking for more. And that will mean a lot of bottleneck of going to discussing it in the top management. It passes through the finance, so many roads, and you bring up a team together to want to, form a team that will build this infrastructure, a new infrastructure, because that's what you're going to build, so as to, get you to the next 10 years in your business. These things are the things companies who have on-premise applications or infrastructures or resources have been doing over the years, until we have the advent of the cloud. And what is the cloud? So in a nutshell, the cloud is still this same computer system that companies have on their premises, which we call on-premise, but in a large scale. These big organizations like Azure, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Oracle, name them, Alibaba or Ali Cloud, they built they built what we call data centers, places where we have all these huge computers. They built it. These are physical computers. They built them so they could just come up in an environment, like a locality, and build massive building where they will have they will have massive computers that can process millions of people's data or infrastructure. So instead of Instead of you using that your online on-premise data, this cloud platform says, we don't worry building these things in your system, on your system in the office, which you're not sure of the amount you need. Come, we have built so much for you. Come and take what you need for now, what your company needs for now. Come and use it. And set up your application, set up your system such that as your company grows, the system will automatically expand to accommodate your company's size and the infrastructure you need. So you don't need to do anything. It will just expand on its own. This means you only get to pay what you used, not to pile up in solutions that you will not need. Come, use, pay for what you need, what you use. As your needs increase, we will have space for you to, accommodate it. We'll just expand what you have. You don't need to start building anything all over again. And that is where the cloud gained the market. Because, that's a win-win. The big cloud companies make more money by telling people, don't need, we have the computer, come and use it. They are the one taking the fall for building so many data centers and waiting for people to come and use. And then tell you, come and use as much as you want. No need. So it's a win-win for both sides. And that's how the cloud came about. So as a company, you come in, you pick up your infrastructure. If you want a SQL database, you pick up SQL database. If you want to host a web application, you go and host your web application. If you want a data warehouse, you go create a data warehouse as much as you need. As much as you need. And these are cutting edge technology, all in a web form for you to use. And they are amazing. So Azure happens to be one of the biggest or the second biggest in terms of market share in the market. So Azure has a second only to AWS in terms of the cloud market share. Then the third is GCP. But these companies are really growing. The customer base is increasing and they are getting better. Some companies port from AWS to Azure and from Azure to AWS, depending on what they want, depending on what the IT team said, this is what we want. So now it becomes important to have at least a knowledge of at least one of these cloud platforms to be able to compete in the markets. And here we are on Azure. That brings us to Azure. So Azure is the market, and this is the interface. Now let's explain. For you to start using Azure, you need to create an account. So this is my account. And before you can use anything, you need to create create a subscription. So you need to put in your card. So nobody's going to charge you until you use something. So don't be afraid. Put in your card. You also have a way to control what you use, which I am going to try to explain or show you in the course of this class. So up here, I have my name. And of course, I have my accounts. And of course, if I click on this avatar, you'll see my account, and there's no picture here. And these are my other accounts. So when we come here by the left side, this is a place where you can get feedback. You can give feedback based on what you're using, your usage here. Say you're using this application, you are not happy, or you are happy, or you have something to report so that they can make it better. You give feedback here. You reach out to the team and then they will work on it. The next one is support. So you have a problem, feedback, and this is just to recommend a problem solution that they can improve. Then this one is just an issue. If you have an issue, you can reach out to them. This is support. And when you click on it, so we have this, and then you can start searching for some of the things you need. If you click on it, you can start searching for some of the things you need. So the next icon here is settings. So let's go to settings. When you come to a platform, when you want to use an application, of course, everyone have the way they want their house to look like. So look at this as, in this cloud application, this is my own space. So you want your space to look like what you want it to look like. You want to be happy. You want to gain the most user experience. Whatever you want, just come and make it how you want it. So when you click on settings, we go to, so on these settings, when you look here up here, you will see Azure subscription. When I click on it, I have two subscriptions. That's a student subscription, which is disabled. It's free. You can create it. You can request for it and create it, a student subscription. So it's expired. That's like a year or 6 months. It's expired. But it was enough for me to build a lot of things and learn a lot of things I needed to learn when I was still studying. And then I have my normal account, which I put in my card. So when you are creating an application, when you're creating a resources, when you want to spin up or open, spin up means create a resources. When you want to create a resource, you need to choose a subscription you want, because your resource must be paid for. So it needs a way to get, it needs a way to where it can charge you, it can bill you when the time comes, and it's billed monthly. All right, so you can choose. So for me, because this is disabled, my student one used to be the default one, but because it's disabled, this one is now my default one. And the default one is the one they will try to always charge, except you choose another one. So that's it there. And all right, so these are just directory. So by the left corner here, you will see another place where another thing we have appearance plus startup view. So when we click on it, it gives us different view and for us to choose what we want. So whatever you choose here will tell you how your your interface will look like. If I choose this dark view, if I choose this dark view and apply, so we see my interface will change. If I go back, if I go there, this is how it looks. But I don't like the dark view. Trust me, it doesn't look so cool for me. But if it's okay for you, by all means, use it. So let's go back, and I'm going to appearance. I will change it from dark view to Azure view, the native Azure view. I'm okay with it. And I will apply. And I'm back to it. So the next one is language and region. The language I choose is English, and my region is the United Kingdom. It's important to choose. So I am in the United Kingdom, so I choose here. I choose that. My information, it's opening. So that's my email. I can edit it. This is Azure plan, Azure portal plan. So you can choose any one here, but I left it open. No one is selected. And next is sign out and notification. So what really happens here is sometimes you keep your system open, and then after some times it signs you out. All those can be controlled here. But if you tell it not to sign, never to sign out, it will not. But just make sure your system is secure so that people don't hack into your system and mess it up. So if you want it to sign you out, so you click here, enable directory level idle timeout. So if you want it to sign you out after some time of inactivity, you choose how many minutes of inactivity. If you say after 15 minutes, sign me out. If none of this suits your stuff, you come here and click on custom and choose how many hours you want. All right, so that is this one. And yeah, so that's it about settings. Do you have any question, guys?
Yeah, for the student, thank you so much. For the student registration or subscription, does one necessarily have to put a card, or you can just
No, there is no card for students. So when you look at it here, there's no card. So it's going to give you a certain amount. That was, I think it was $200 or $100 it gave to me. And that was enough to run everything I needed to run. And I'll teach you how to manage your resources so that you don't waste your money. All
For
right.
the student option, how to use your student email, the school email.
No, that's not. Can you see? You can see the King's Analytics. That's not. This is a Gmail. It's not even asking you so much. So go and make research on. Go on Google and search student account, Azure student account. There's no. It's not asking you anything to verify anything. No. So because the student could be like you're a student in a school, or you are a student who is not even in a school, but a student who wants to learn. You understand? Who wants to learn Azure? So it's just students not attached to any school. You don't have to be in any school. Well, I think that's how it was when I registered. You can see my email address is showing just a Gmail address. All right. Do you have any other question on this?
No.
So we're good. Okay, so the next one is icon notification, which it's okay if you want to leave it on. So that's my notification here. So the next icon here is, your command prompt in your computer. This is command prompt on cloud. So I can click on it. When I click on it, it opens up. Okay, so it's asking me, you have no storage mounted. Azure Cloud requires an Azure file share to persist file. So this will create a new storage account for you, and this will incur a small monthly cost. So you can say, so this is going to create a storage account for me to create this thing I want to create, and it will incur a small monthly cost. I can also close the resources. So I will say, okay, yeah, create storage, so that I will be able to, so the whole idea is for me to be able to use the cloud shell. So it's creating. Remember, all these things that is being created, it's created. Yeah, you're seeing it as is in a cloud, but it's a computer somewhere that is enabling all these things. All right, so it's opening. So this is when you open your computer, you will see this blue stuff. It means this is what we call PowerShell on your computer. So it's called Cloud Shell. So if you open your computer and type PowerShell, you will see that it opens. And that's the equivalent of it in cloud. That's what is opening here. So it's authenticating me. So what happens is when you click on it, because you're logged in, it will try to log you in online. So it's done authenticating me. So now I will just check using normal command I will use in my computer on my CL, on my PowerShell, as if you were in my computer. I will use it like ls means list everything in my current directory, like the directory means folder. So it will list. So the only thing here is this cloud drive created for me, that I created, because it needs it to hold everything I want to create on the shell. So that's the only thing that is there. If I want to go in there, I will cd to my cloud drive, and then I am in. So these things are command line commands, codes that I am using. You can always search it. You can always browse it. So if I choose ls, okay, so it's telling me there's nothing in my cloud shell. If I want to go back, cd dot, and then I am back. No, so I will say cd dots, yeah. And then I am back one level backwards. All right, so but this, this is even enough for you to do whatever you want to do. So let's move on. I'm going to close. If I want to close this interface, I will just come here and close it. And here we are. Okay, so I've done that. The next thing here is search. So I am on Azure. I don't know where anything is. So this thing is also in every platform, GCP and AWS alike. When you come, you don't know. So you don't know how to find what you're looking for. It is for you to search for it. So I want to search for Synapse Analytics. I will type it Synapse. So you see, and then you see it here, Synapse Analytics. I'll click on it. And it's also important you know the symbol, the icon, so that you know the right one to click. So when I click on it, it's now asking me to create a Synapse. No Azure Synapse Analytics to display. What is Azure Synapse Analytics? I'm sure you have heard of Google BigQuery. So this is Microsoft version of Google BigQuery. It's called Azure Synapse Analytics. So it is Azure's data warehouse. And it is powerful. Trust me, it is powerful. I've used it. It is powerful. In it, you can do your normal dimensional model. You also have that interface you have in Power BI in the data model tab. You have it here in Azure Synapse. So, and it's inside it, you also have Power Query for you to do a lot of things. You have a whole lot of things there. It is powerful. Trust me, this application is powerful, but it's expensive. So you have to be careful how you use it. All right, so if I want to create, I'll come here and create it, but I'm not creating it. It takes time to spin up. So I'll go back. That's how to search from here. Anything you want to search, you go there. So that is it. When you come to your home tab, you will definitely see, the resources you have used. So these are things I have used, like the ones I have used. And some of the recent resources I created were here, but I've deleted them. Supply chain objects, supply chain objects. So I created them in Synapse, created it in data storage and Azure Data Factory. All right, so you can see I already know this icon. That's why I'm naming them. I didn't even look by the side here to see what I'm looking for. And then this key one is called data vault. So the data vault of a thing is just used for security. You know how you want to save your database password, you save it in vault. So most keys are saved in vault, even for password, even for website, they are all saved in vault. And that's a very standard way to save it in Azure, and it's very, very efficient. So here you can spin up a resource, and I'm going to explain to you what resource is in a bit. So by the side here, you will see this hamburger icon. When you click on it, it opens up all the resources that we have in Azure here. These are all the resources we have in Azure. Oh, sorry, these are the favorite one. So if I click here, if I click all resources, first of all, you see create a resource, home, dashboard, and all service. So if I say create a resource, what really happened? What is resource? A resource is anything you want to create in Azure here. Anything is a resource. Synapse is a resource. Database is a resource. Now, a combination of them, bringing them together in a particular group is called resource group. So let's say I want to build a data pipeline. I need Azure. I need Azure data factory to bring in data. and transform it. If I don't want to transform it using just Azure, the user interface, I can transform it using Databricks. So I will say I need Azure, I need Databricks I need the Azure to I need ADF, Azure Data Factory, to bring in my data. I need Azure Databricks to transform it. I need Azure storage account to store it. There's also another one, but I need storage account to store it. And I need Synapse Analytics for my data warehouse to move everything in a dimensional model. So I have mentioned that I need key vaults to secure my keys, my secret keys. Now I've mentioned 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 data factory. So all of them can be in one place because I'm building something. It's recommended all of them can be in one place. And when you bring them into one place, like a folder system, that folder system is called resource group. It's called resource group. And you cannot create a resource without its group. You need to have a resource. A resource needs to be in a resource group. And a resource group must be in a subscription. You see how it is? You're spinning up a resource. It needs a resource group. A resource group cannot function without being in a subscription. And that's the hierarchy. Subscription is like the highest hierarchy, highest level, followed by resource group. There can be multiple resource groups in a subscription. And then there can be multiple resources in a resource group. Does that make sense?
I didn't get the last part.
So a resource group is like a high level, the top level chairman, and then a subscription is the top level.
Subscription. Yeah.
A subscription has a resource group. So it means a subscription can have multiple resource groups under them. So why would they need multiple resource group? So let's say in PrimeSoft, we have one subscription. So this one subscription can have resource group for data warehouse, another resource group for the web application, another resource group for maybe APIs, another resource group for mobile apps, and all these resource, so all these resource group are using one subscription. And this subscription is just you putting your card and putting your company's card detail, and they'll be charging from here. But inside each resource group, we have the resources that you want to use. So for data, we say we will use Data Factory, Azure Data Factory. We'll use Databricks. We could also use SQL because the data can be in SQL. Then we use Data Factory to extract it. And then we use data storage to load it into a data lake. From there, we can bring it to Synapse Analytics for the transformed data. And even in it, you can also spin up Power BI inside it and then visualize your data. So all these things I just said can be in one resource called data. Is it clear?
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Ruth, is it clear?
Yeah, it's cool.
All right. So let's move on. So I've explained this. So the same way here. So one thing about the beautiful thing about an interface, a web interface, is that there are different places to create ways to do things. So I can create a resource here. I can create a resource here, and I also can create a resource. I can create a resource on the command line on the Cloud Shell here. I can also create a resource from outside I can create a resource here from outside here using things like orchestration using things like Terraform, Polemy, Ansible. I can use them to create a resource group. I can also use the Python outside here, use Python to create a resource group here. Just for you to know, there are multiple ways of doing things. But for you, now you can just, for a start, you can just use this method to do what you need to do. All right. So the next is home. When you click on home, it brings you here. This is our home. That's the interface we have been explaining. And then the next is dashboard. So here is my dashboard. And dashboard, you make it however you want. You make however you want. So let's say I don't like this, the way my dashboard is just scattered. I can come up here and edit it. So I click on edit, and then I'll say, okay, so the way this my dashboard is, I don't like it. So I want to arrange it. I want this one, you can drag it. I want this one to come down. I want something bigger to go up. Stay here. And then you guys should just come up. Okay, let me move this one up. Okay, this one, I don't like you here. I don't even know what you're doing here. No, just stay here. So you can drag anything. So you can bring this one here, then bring these ones under. Arrange them however you want. Okay, so you are too far away. Can you come up? Okay, so it looks like I don't like it like that. I can bring this one here. This one here. I want it to be much more structured. Good. Stay here. Then I'll bring this here. Okay, so can you go here?
Past 9.
Good. So I have this here. It looks much more organized. Now I can bring these ones up. So I can bring these ones up. Yeah. So it's just you customize your dashboard how you want it. If you want more, okay, so let me go by the side. So you can see it's big. So if you want more, you can come by the side, tile gallery, and look for what you want and drag it and drop, depending on what you want to see whenever you come. And that is it. You can then come here and save it. See, easy. So that's so easy. And let's say there's this resource I like using all the time. I will come here. Let's say I like using Azure SQL. So I'll open it. So this is it. Then as I like using it, I will go to pin here. You can see pin here. I want to have it on my dashboard, pin it to my dashboard. This is my dashboard. So I will click on it, and it's telling me that it's pinned. So I'll go and look for it. Azure SQL resource group. So let's look for it. Okay, so here is it, Azure SQL. So these are quick starts. Okay, that's tutorial. No, okay, here is it, Azure SQL. But it's telling me there's nothing here. So if I don't want it, I will click on this ellipsis and remove it. So do with it however you wish. And I'll save. I will move on. Always remember to save. So the next is all services. When I click on all services here, it brings me to where I can find all services. So all services, see, bringing us to all services here. And then by the side is giving us a category for all services. So for this category, you just need to know. So if you want to talk about database, you come to databases. When you click on it, you will see all the services that have to do with database. So on here, Azure SQL, we have SQL database, SQL managed instance, SQL elastic pool. You need to you need to look up this thing, read up these things, and then understand what they are. And the next is, so when you go by the side, you will see a whole lot of things. If I go to storage, we'll see I have storage, objects, I have storage here. So I have object files and blob. So you can see some of the things you can do. And then see this storage account we talked about. That's Azure's first data storage account. And then there's also another one. When you click on it, there's another one called Azure Data Lake. So Gen 2, call it Azure Data Lake Gen 2. So there's Gen 1, Gen 2. So depending on the one you want and what you need it for, you create it. The Gen 1, this one is just a simple folder, but the Gen 2 has different level of folder, a cascaded folder, level 1, level 2, level 3, creating folder inside folder and inside folder. And that's how it works for the Gen 2. And that depends on what you want, how complex what you want is. So you can see web and mobile, security, just whatever you want. Migration, you want to migrate data into Azure. So you have this Azure database migration service to help you. Azure migrate, a lot of tools you have. So all these things that you would do normally on your computer using your custom code, you can just come in here. Azure has a lot to do that will help you do them. And let's say I want to create a resource. So I want to create a storage account. So I'll come to storage, click storage account. Which one do I want? I want this one, storage account. So I have clicked on it. So it opens here. All right, so I want to create a storage account. When you come here, you will see create. So I'll create my storage account. I've clicked on create. It's creating. So let's say I want to build a sales dashboard. So I will call it my storage account. Okay, so now look at this subscription. See, a subscription has under it resource group. So what subscription am I looking for? This is the subscription I'm looking for. That's the one I'm using. Then I don't have a resource group yet, apart from this resource group created by the cloud share. I want to create and if I want to use it, fine, but I want to create a new resource group. So I'll go here, create. So when I go here, I'll name it. What do I name it? A resource group cannot have a name, so your resource group needs to be unique and cannot entertain space. So I want to call it Prime Soft Sales Data. So that's what I want to name it. So, and that's it. I've created my resource group. And here it has picked it. That's a new resource group. And let's move on. What's the name of my storage account? Okay, so I'll call my storage account sales. Okay, so the field can contain only lowercase, you see? So these are the rules. Sales, storage name sales is already taken. Sales data set. Is it taken? So the field can only contain lowercase letter and numbers. So it cannot contain any space, any hyphen. So is it taken? Okay, so it's not taken. All right, so sales data set. All right, so now what's the next thing? Region. So remember I told you how this cloud platform create a physical data centers where all these activities we do on the cloud platform sit, or the data centers are the place where we have all the computers that really process all the things we do on this cloud platform. So by rule of thumbs, depending on where your customers are, it is recommended you create your data center closer to your customer. So let's say I am in the UK and PrimeSoft is a company in the UK and PrimeSoft clients are in the UK. Since we're even dealing with data, so data has to do with, most of the data has to do with the internal clients, internal users, which is a staff. So I will create it in the UK. So I will go click here and I want it to be in Europe. UK is in Europe. Okay, so these are the data centers, the places you can create. So I want it Europe, and the one closest to me, this is Norway. East Europe, Norway is close, but there should be one in the UK, yeah. So we have the UK here, UK South, Europe, UK South. We have UK North. Okay, so we have UK South. So I'll pick UK because I'm in the UK, and I'm closer to the South. So I want to just choose the standard account. If I want premium, remember all you choose is what you pay. So this is dual redundant storage. So this had to do with, so what really happens with this your storage is, let's say I have data. Now I have chosen a center here. My data will be in this center, but if anything happens in this center, my data is gone. So I'm giving in cloud platform, you're giving the opportunity to back up your data in different centers. That is, replicate your data in different data centers. That way, when one is down, the other one you can get it from the other center and continue transactions. So for now, we're using just one, and you can read up this whenever you are. Okay, so I want just locally redundant storage, which is the simplest. And yeah, I should be able to manage it. Okay, so, and that's it. I have been able to fill up this. Now, I'll go to next. When I go to next, it will go to advanced. It will keep going to advanced network data protection until review and create. If I don't want to go through all this, if I'm sure that everything I have is okay, I can skip all these things by clicking review and plus create. So, but for the purpose of this class, let's go through them. So advanced, do I need anything here? Yes, I will need something. So enable hierarchical namespace. So hierarchical namespace, if you remember, I told you about data storage, a simple one, and then Azure Data Lake, which is the one that has a hierarchical level of folders is folder inside folder. If you want to have that one, you need to enable it here. And that's why I said I can do something here. You click on it, it's enabled. Now, what it means is that what I have now is the Azure Data Lake Gen 2, the Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. Please take note of it. That's what I have right now. So, so what we had earlier, the data storage itself is just like blob storage. Now let's move on to the next. So I am not a network person. I usually move on. These things are just default. The default is fine, except your company needs something more. I am okay with this. So this is like days to return data blobs. So let's say you delete, that is what we call soft delete. So you delete your data. How long will it be in your data blob until it completely deletes? You can choose here, but remember what you choose, you pay for it. 7 days or more. So, and after that 7 days, you know how you delete, it doesn't delete completely, it goes to your trash. It stays there for some time, and after some time it deletes. Yes, that's how that one works. Okay, so the next tag, can add tag, but we don't need tag here. That's for later. That's for when you want to do some production level resources. And then after that, we have review. So here is reviewing to see if everything is in order. So you can see all the things you have chosen. And then after that, you create. So I'm creating a resources. You can see deployment in progress. It's creating that resources. You can see it. It's creating the resources. So wait a little. It takes a little time to create, but because this is data storage, it doesn't take so much time to create. Yeah, I think it's almost done. So as it's moving here, it is also moving here. You can see it up here on this notification. It's moving there. And this is the same way you create SQL database. So boom, we have our stuff. It's created. So I can go to resources. So I am here in my resources. And this is the interface of my resources. I can click here to go to my data lake. Or I can even come here, data storage. Click here, data storage by the side here. When I click here, I'll go to container. So now your data lake has containers. Containers are like those level of folders. So when I go here, I open it and I can create this empty. I can create a new container. When I click here, container, I'll create a new one. I'll call it sales data. Okay, so it's telling me you can't have capital letter. Sales data. All right, I'm creating it. That's my first container. All right, so I don't want to, so I want another data. I'll call it, what do I name this one? I'll name it HR. Sorry. Oops. I'll name it human resource. Human resource. That is it. See, I have it here. So I can, let's say I want to add data to it. I can easily open it, click on sales, and I want to add data to it. Can you see upload? Upload. And then where do I want to get it from? I'll browse my computer. And okay, I am in this data set. So let me just take this one. This is 94 megabytes. So I'll move it. It's here. You can see the file here, supply chain, and then upload. So wait for it to finish uploading. And you know the beauty of it, you have heard of data lake. So this is data lake. It can accept any type of data. So I can go again and bring in another type of data. And what kind of data do I want to bring? Let's just go and bring. This is my, so this is my code, so I can bring it. Anything you want to bring. anything you want to bring, it will take it. Can you see supply chain.py? I'm going to bring another kind of data. Take notes. The more you bring, the more you pay. The more space you're taking, the more you pay. Remember, I want to bring this presentation. Okay, upload. Can you see? We all have the here. So if I want to go backwards, so take note of this hierarchy. If I want to go backwards, see this. See this. So from here, I can go backwards. So if I want to go back to the container level, sales data set, so I'll click on it. I mean, sales data set. If I go to human resource, there is nothing in human resource. Go back to the sales data set, go to sales, you can see my data in sales. And that's how beautiful it is. This is just you using the interface to build this. You can also use Azure Data Lake, Data Factory to bring data into this place. And that is where you begin to build your data pipelines. Does that make sense?
Mm.
Are you tired, people?
When you say data lake, are you talking about, for instance, now Adventure Works, you bring it into this place and then you work on it here? Is that what you mean?
Yes. Can bring adventure work to this place. Can bring any kind of data, Facebook data, Google Analytics data, can bring any kind of thing into this place. So the concept of a data lake is bring your data in its raw form from the transactional database or anywhere it is. When you have not touched it at all, bring it and dump it here. If in case you want to touch it before you dump it here, you can decide to do some hashing of a personally identifiable information, things like address, people's name. Just do some hashing, credit card, do some security check, security protection and transformation. That's a little transformation. And I'm sure you have heard about the terminology ECLT. So Azure Data Factory is used to do the extract. It can also be used to do the transform. Then you can also use to do the little transform. Then Azure Data Lake is where you load it. That's where you load it. And then when you're done loading it, you can use Azure Data Factory again to transform it again, or you can use Azure Databricks to transform it. That's it for a high level anyway, Python coders. To transform it again, and then before you move it to, when you're done transforming it like this again, you can still create another level of folder and bring it back to this place. Because it's more cheaper, it's cheaper to be here than Azure, than moving it to Synapse Analytics. Please take note, it's cheaper to be in data lake than in data warehouse. So from here, you can then create what we call, so from here you can use serverless, you can create SQL pool. So what it means is you create a kind of a semantic layer, a layer where from Azure Synapse, you use SQL to query the data from here, from the data lake into Azure Synapse. It's going to be living in the data lake, but you can just get it in, only the code will be in Azure Synapse. Whenever you query, you run the code, you see your data, and when you're done, it's gone. Only the code will be there. That way you save money. All right, so that's.
So what will you do with data that comes after you use SQL to
So
Before
you
it,
can use it, you can, when you're done bringing it, you can then push them into Power BI using,
okay.
yes, you can
Using,
push them into Power BI and then save your data sets on your desktop if you like.
okay. So the Azure Data Factory,
Yes.
does it store only transform data?
Yes, I just explained to you. You can see my arrow here. No, Azure Data Factory is not for storing. It's not, it's transformation. It does not store data.
Mhm.
Okay, so ADL, which is the data
Azure
lake, is
Data
for storage.
Factory. Azure Data Lake is for the storage. So you
Storage.
can, after transforming it, you can choose to move it to Synapse Analytics, or you move it back to Azure Data Lake. So what it means is I can come back to here. So this is data. Sales is a data, is a raw data. So I can create another container and call it sales transformed. Does
Oh,
that make
okay.
sense?
Like an updated.
Like a transformed one, plain one, then you move it to that sales transformed. It's
Okay.
cheaper that way than moving it to Synapse Analytics.
So
Which is,
is it only the Synapse you can actually use SQL to extract information from data?
yes, that's what gives you the ability to use. You can use SQL in Databricks, but that said, and there's much more advanced work. It's called Spark. You can use SQL Spark. I'm sure you have heard about Spark.
Mm.
Spark. So, but that's beyond the scope of this training.
So if you get your transform data,
Mhm.
maybe transform fields, can you actually take it out and use SSMS if you don't want to continue under the Azure?
Oh, okay. Why do you want to use SSMS? All right.
I think say the Synapse is expensive.
So that's why you leave it here, but you can still download it from here. But remember, the whole idea of using this cloud and building a data pipeline is that it would remain that way inside here, and it will keep running continuously, and you'll be monitoring and managing it. And that's somebody's job called a data engineer.
Okay. I
And
noticed
when
that
it's beginning to consume
SQL.
much, the data engineer will come and look at the resources that is taking so much and try to, see how to optimize what we have there to reduce cost. Yeah, you have a question.
I noticed that SQL is also a resource under the Azure.
Yes.
So is it possible for you to open the SQL here and just start query the data under the
Yes,
data lake?
yes, you have interface to query the data. Yes, when you create SQL, you have interface to query your data like normal SQL interface, like you have the SSMS. Yeah, you have it inside here.
I like to connect the data from the data lake within the same Azure.
Yes, everything is here. You surprised?
This is like a community of its own.
Exactly. It's everything. In fact, your web application that generates the data is even here. It's hosted here. Everything is here. So when companies say knowledge of cloud, Azure, GCP, this is because, I mean, it's not the future, it is now. Now, even those of us that are going into the AI, yeah. So, all right, so I'm going to come out now. So if I want to come out completely, I'll come here. I'll just come out completely here. So if I want to go back there, I'll go to my resources. Where is my resources? Okay, so I'll go to this here. Remember, this is another stuff because I have gone to all resources. If I want to go back to the dashboard, this is dashboard. the ellipsis. So now my dashboard is showing me all my resources. You can see I have 2 resources here. And if I want to go straight to our resource group, I'll come here. Where is the resource group? Resource group. Where is the resource group? Oh, yeah, here you are, resource group. So I'll click on it, so it will show me all my resources. Now I say two changed resources. All right, so now here we are. My money is running, my money is burning. So I need to delete these resources. I will come here, click the resource. You don't go, and when I click the resource, it's going to take me to all my resources. But it's only one that I created anyway. So if I had created, this is my resource group. So if I had created more resource group, I would have, it would have shown me all of them. Sorry, more resources inside one resource group, it would have shown me all of them. So to delete, I will highlight this, copy it, copy the name of the resource group. And oh, hold on, no, that's not where I am. I went to the wrong place. I'm supposed to be in a resource group. Good, not all resource group, please take note of it. So here it is, resource group, prime soft sales data. So that's a resource group. When I click on it, it will then bring and show me my resources. Now here are my resources, but it's only one resource that I have, that sales data, and that is, you can say this in storage, Azure data block, and Azure data lake gen 2. So if I want to create a new resource to add to this one resource, I will create here. But this time around, I want to delete it because it's money. So I will highlight this, copy the name, and then come to delete resource group. Look at it here. Now, if you go and delete only the resource and leave the resource group, it will still be, your money will still be going. It will still be charging you. It's important to delete the resource group. When you delete, it is safe to delete the resource group. When you delete the resource group, the resources, everything goes with it. So when I paste the resource name, I can now delete. So it is safe for me to do it this way. So it is deleting, and I know it's deleting because of here. So you see how it's moving. So here, that's why I know it's deleting. And when it's done deleting, I'll be able to wait for it to delete. I will tell you that it's done deleting. Now, not all of them delete so fast. So what happens when I delete a resource group? Everything completely deletes. Now, one of the problem is, so if everything completely delete, are you saying, Kingsley, are you saying if I have a data pipeline, everything is in one resource group and somebody just enters there and delete that resource group, are you saying all my data pipeline is deleted? Yes, it is. Everything will be deleted. And that is why in the setting, it gives you the power to choose not to delete anything. So it's done deleting. And then when I refresh, when I reload, and you will see that we do not have anything. No resource group. That resource group was not found. But remember, I still have one that was created for me by Cloud Shell. I'm going to delete it later. So let's come here, and something I want to do here. So um, sure, I've seen it. All right, but before then, let me quickly. So every of your data application is every data application I want to use that is powered by Microsoft is here. So some of them is, you have seen Azure SQL, which is a fully managed. So you know what this means? Fully managed serverless database means you don't download any SQL server for it. It's already in it. So it's a fully managed database service built for the cloud. And it is based on SQL Server Engine. And the next one is Cosmos DB. So Cosmos DB is, let me look for it. Cosmos DB will be in data storage. All right, so I'll go to all resources. So this is not giving, these are just a few of them. But I want to go to all resources and get some of them. So Cosmos DB is a globally distributed multi-model database service designed for building highly responsible and scalable application. That's what Cosmos DB is. So it is highly scalable. And when I go to storage, or no need to go there, just type it Cosmos DB. And Azure Cosmos DB. And here we go. I can create it, but I'm not going to create it. These things are usually expensive. Okay, so the next is Azure Data Lake Storage. I have explained that to you, what it is. So I've explained the difference between Azure Blob, and Azure Data Lake. So the Blob is a scalable object storage service for storing large amounts of unstructured data, such as text or binary. So Blob stands for binary large objects. That's what Blob stands for. I hope I mentioned it. I hope I'm correct. Blob. Blob stands for where is it? Um, what's that? Hmm? Just wanted to confirm if I said it well. Taking my time. So I'll move on. I think it's binary large objects. I remember. Well, when I do, I'll let you know. So, and yes, so that's Cosmos DB. And then I've explained Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, and there are different Azure Synapse Analytics. There's also the one for NoSQL called Azure Table Storage. So what you get to see is that all the tools, mostly all the tools that is used by Microsoft, that is powered by Microsoft, is in Azure. So the other one you don't find in Azure, you find them in Office 365. And yeah, that is it. So that brings us to the end of this. I'm going to go ahead and delete all the storage, and that is standard practice, please. That is standard practice. So I will delete all the storage. A resource group, and click resource group. So come here and copy this, delete resource group, and that's it, deleting it. So while it is deleting it, you can still go and start doing other things. So you can also come and manage your costs. See cost management. You can come and manage your costs. So what I usually do, I put a budget. So I usually put a budget on what I want to do. Okay, so let's see payment method, invoice, billings, cost management, see? So I can budget myself. So what this means is, so this is my budget, monthly budget is, whenever, so see the forecast, you said the way I'm using, I put, my budget is monthly budget is $10. And they're saying that the forecast for me to use this month is 33 pence. So mean I'm not doing anything. So, and I told you that when it gets to, where did I put it? When it hits 75%, it should send me an alert. That's what I told it. If it hits 75%, send me an alert so that I will come and check what I am using. So you can come here and manage your budget. You can add budgets here. It's up to you. You can make it a daily budget, you can make it a weekly, monthly budget, yearly budget. Choose what you want. And yeah, so just come here and see what you have here. But remember, you're going to put your payment method. So I have my payment method here. I have my MasterCard here. You're going to put your payments and do what you need to do. Yeah, so that is the end of the section.